Hey everyone, sorry that I haven't had any videos out here in a little bit. I've been just so busy with freelance late at night that I haven't had a chance to produce any content. So I figure since it's been a little bit of a break, why don't we introduce a new knife this evening. So with me I have this, I got this knife as a gift, so it's pretty cool. But it's this, I don't know what you'd call it, like a kukri or whatever. It's got zombie hunter type of knife, but yeah, pretty sweet. I don't know. I haven't really used it yet. I don't know what I'd use it for, but hopefully you found that one interesting. So I've got another exciting knife to show you in another episode, so we'll get to that eventually. So all right, let me share my screen here and we'll get into it. Okay, so for today, we're going to talk about the cite element. And this one is one of those, what kind of makes me frustrated with HTML, because it seems like when you're citing work, it's usually the person that you're citing. And in this case, we don't really use maybe the person's name to cite for like our reference. So we kind of talked about the block quote, and inside of that, we can have our text that can just be in a paragraph, text about a quote, right? But then if we want to know, well, where did this quote come from, right? So we would have a cite. In fact, let's look up something. If we were to say Walking Dead quotes, right? So if we just copied this quote, blah, 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 I don't know who really said this quote, but we're going to say, hey, they're going to find out something. Well, who said this? Maybe we would say Glenn, right? Well, that may or may not be correct. Really, we would probably want the cite to include, where did this come from? Like, where did we get this quote? So it'd be better to cite, a URL or the book or something else, and not necessarily the author or the person, if you want to think of it that way. So we can see here, when we're talking about the cite, we've just included this text in it. Again, MDN is the best place to go. So we can see here how they've kind of used it. This sentence, 1984, that's what's actually inside of the cite tag, not necessarily by George Orwell. So where I'm getting this information, what they're mentioning here is the reference to the creative work. So it can include all this different stuff in the cite element, but not the person's name is what they're saying. So why is that frustrating? Well, maybe us as developers, as we're still learning this stuff, like I am so used to coming in here and saying, oh, Jenny or so-and-so said this thing, and this is their quote. But why we might see this used incorrectly is because within WordPress, we've got this new Gutenberg editor block thing, and we come here and we click quote, and right, we're gonna copy in our quote, and we can see right here we've got the citation, and that may or may not be descriptive enough to know like who's going to cite it. Sometimes people use these as like, oh, well, this is a testimonial, and I'm going to quote this person, and who said this fancy testimonial? Oh, well, it was Joe, right? So let's update this. This is our block quote. Come over here, refresh, and we can see if we inspect this, we've got our block quote, we've got our paragraph that wrapped what we said, but then inside the cite tag, well, we've got Joe. So sometimes we get the improper usage because, we don't expect clients or people that might be maintaining the site to maybe know and use these things correctly. So that's, I think, where it's a little frustrating with HTML, is like, how do you ever know what is the right way, and without really kind of going to looking up some documentation and seeing proper examples and know that's the right way to use it. Still, I kind of hope maybe some of these elements might change and evolve and make it a little bit more intuitive, at least just from my perspective. But yeah, so that's the cite element. Hopefully you found that informational and maybe useful for you the next time you come across it. Yeah, that's all I've got, and thanks for programming with me today, and I'll hit you up in the next one. Okay, later.